it's a great thing, and it's what makes America great, that we can all have opinions. And so I'm thankful for you in allowing the time for people to come and ask questions. I'm, however, a little disappointed that a lot of the people that wanted answers are not here right now. And I agree with you, Councilmember Tips, that's got to be discouraging. But we'll get the answers out somehow or another, and that's what we're here today to do, is answer questions. When you sit in your seat, you know this, and I know it, there are hard decisions. And those hard decisions are the ones that usually make the most difference. This is a world-changing decision that you're making today. But also the hard decisions are the ones where someone's house is about to get torn down, and you give them an extension, and they're able to go ahead and rebuild their house. So I thank you for not only the great big decisions, but for the small ones too that you make. I know you all will be men of integrity, each and every one of you men of character. And I know that today there's been people that have attacked that. But I know you're men of character, you're men of integrity. And I know that you can stand those attacks because you know the truth. And that's who you are. This week I was reading Nehemiah and Ezra. And it's just, guys, I read through the Bible each year. I think it's kind of amazing that that's the two books that I'm reading this week. And it's about taking on big challenges. Challenges like this Fermi project, when Ezra went to rebuild the temple. And there was a lot of noise and a lot of people saying it can't be done. When Nehemiah got ready to build the wall, they said, you can't do it. And he was attacked from all sides. But he said, you know what, I've got a mind to work. I've got a mind to do the will of God. And in 52 days, they built the wall. And that's the kind of speed that this company is using, because we're in a war. I mean, whether you like it or not, it's a war. And speed is everything in this war. We've got to beat our adversaries, whoever they are on the world stage. We've got to beat them. And it's got to be done fast. And that's why sometimes this project seems like it's been rushed. But there's been much dialogue between city staff and Fermi and working to this part. There's no agreement at this time between Fermi and the city of Amarillo. I know you're going to address the letter of intent later, but that's a letter of intent. It's not a contract. And so, as we move through that, that's one of those boxes on the wall that's trying to knock the wall down. But this is what we got to build. I want to just say one thing. When Robert Keyes, Commissioner Robert Keyes and I were on the city council together, Bell Helicopter wanted to come to Amarillo. Today we look back and think, they're the most wonderful corporate citizen that we have. Sonia Clark, the side leader's right here. They are an incredible citizen. They have been instrumental in us winning the war in the Middle East through the terrorist wars, supporting our military. But I'm going to tell you, when we brought the contract for Bell to come, there was so many naysayers. They said they've been here before and they left after the Vietnam War. Why would we bring them back? We went through all those naysayers knowing that we need to build a wall, that this was an important project for Amarillo, Texas. Then we had the disaster of the testing of the V-22 when the precious lives were lost of the Marines that were on that V-22. And then everyone wanted to capitulate and to give up the fight. And we didn't. Even though at that time it was not popular. It was unpopular. But we knew that in the end, America needed the V-22. Our armed services, all four of them, were asking for it. And we were able to deliver as a community, and now look what we have with the V-22 and Bell Helicopter. So I just say that as a point of reference how things can change. You know my history. I was going to give a little bit of history, but I know brevity is appreciated, and this meeting has already gone a long time. This is the longest city council meeting I've ever been in my life. Out of 500, this one is number one, the longest. Thank you, Mayor. So who is Fermi? I've been asked that. Is this a French company? Who are they? Enrico Fermi was the inventor of the nuclear reactor in 1942, which because of his scientific discoveries helped us in the Manhattan Project and helped us to save 1 million lives in World War II when our country dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So Fermi, that's an honor to him. But who is Fermi? I'm going to introduce our Fermi team. This is Mitsu Utzman, his wife, Susan, the foremost nuclear experts in the world. They have just built the last nuclear reactor in the world in Abu Dhabi. They've worked in China, and they're going to be here to answer questions for you. We had the Chancellor of Texas Tech here to answer questions about Texas Tech. I don't think he realized how long the meeting was going to be, and he had other meetings that he had to go to. So, but he was here in attendance to answer those questions. We have Toby Noggemeyer. Toby is the founder of Fermi. You know, these guys, when they move at hyper speed, I'm telling you, they are visionaries and they're moving. And so, because of that, Fermi's made some mistakes. We're moving through, going fast, knowing there's a mission, and there needed to have been some time that we could talk. That's what we're doing today. We're catching everybody up to speed, not trying to, however long we need to stay, whatever questions you want to ask, they are here to ask the questions. And full transparency, whatever you want to ask, we're here to answer those questions for everyone. Hopefully the people that were asking the questions are watching on TV at this time. But that's what we're here to do today. We have Toby's son, Nate. Where's Nate? Here's Nate. Some of the questions will be answered by city staff who knows our water situation better than anybody. Donnie, I've sat in meetings with Donnie and Jerry. Grayson knows it. Andrew knows it. We're going to ask those folks. We've got folks from Park Hill, Cole and Zane. They're here to answer water questions. There are rumors and there are facts. We have people that have the facts. Anyone can make up a rumor, but we're going to back it up with data today. Data is all that matters in this kind of decision. You've got to have data. We can't make the decision based on emotion. This is a data-driven decision. So what's happening here for everybody that's not part of this group, because y'all know, Fermi is building a mall. We are a mall, I say we are mall builders. They are mall builders. They're building their own power generation. They're not taking power off the grid like so many people said today, that they're going to rob our power, it's going to go up. They're going to use a minute amount of power in the beginning to get things started to build the project, but then it will be self-generation, enough power to power Fort Dallas, Texas. We're talking about the epicenter of power generation, and that's how you win the AI war, is with power generation. I know I sound excited. I want to be, I'm hired to help you and to help them and to kind of bring our communities together where mistakes have been made and maybe we didn't get the information out. Today, we want to get this information out. The part of the reason was just kind of the ultimate storm. They hired me to come on as a communicator, did one interview, and then we were shut down. I couldn't say anything because we were in an IPO in the silent period. I don't want to get in trouble, so I didn't say anything. We came out of that. Since that time, last week, I had met with a group of bikers Sunday afternoon, 60 bikers, let them ask me questions for a long time, answered their questions. They were comfortable. I've been on Michael J. Stevens' show, had interviews with the Tribune. We're here today. Tomorrow, I'm doing a meeting with the Government Council to explain this to them of the Chamber. The next day, I'm doing a meeting with 300 guests from all our counties. We're getting the information out. It's just going to take a minute. I'm the only person in Amarillo, Texas. When somebody wants to sell Fermi business cards, they're calling my cell phone. When they want to sell a house to a Fermi employee, they're calling my cell phone. I'm going from early in the morning to 11. So we just went in the video. I'm not going to go over why here because the video explained it. But the real big one is why. We're going to win the power war. America's got to win the power war. We don't have a choice. And we've got a short time to do it. And in the future, it's about our kids. Not having to go somewhere to Dallas, Fort Worth to join the Metroplex. They can come out of school here and become citizens of this community and productive citizens and work in a field that's going to be the newest field and a highly lucrative field for them. So this is about the future of our community. What's Fermi asking for? Not asking for any money from the AEDC. They are not asking for a penny. Normally the AEDC would pay $100 million easy for this many jobs. Fermi's not asking for AEDC money. They're not asking for the city to pay for infrastructure. They're going to pay for the infrastructure themselves. They're asking to pay twice what the rate is that the citizens of Amarillo pay for water. This is going to be a huge economic win for the city because that will be money that can be used for projects. And I know there's a dream list and you just get to dream because there's going to be a lot of money if this goes through in this contract. How much is 2.5 million gallons of water? Tyson uses 5 million gallons a day. Fermi's asking for half of that, what Tyson uses. And I could go into corn production, but there's 3,125 pivots of production in the panhandle of Texas. 3,125. The most that Fermi will ever need is 11 pivots. That's less than 1/10, I mean, it's not even a 10% is what they're asking for from the whole panhandle, not from Amarillo. Amarillo today, they're asking for 1 or 2 pivots. Out of 3,125 pivots, they are not going to drain the overall. When Mr. Keys and I were on the city council, we bought 300-year supply of water. And now you're going to be able to take that supply of water that Commissioner Keys and I purchased, and you're going to be able to sell it to Fermi at a 600% return annually from what we pay. The city of Amarillo is going to get a 600% return. I don't know of any other stock or anything that you can make that kind of return. I want to be here for you. We're behind the ball, and I'm trying to catch up. I want you to ask these questions, but I needed to kind of tee this up for you. I want to thank you. This is a need, and it's a need to go fast, because this project, everybody is waiting. There's construction workers, and y'all know this. The mayor, you know this better than anybody. We're coming into winter. And when you start trying to do concrete work and the stuff you've got to do going into winter, you need to get on it as fast as possible. Here's the other thing. I want you to have my cell phone, and I want everybody else, all the people that were here today asking questions, I want you to have my cell phone number. 806-674-6688. Is Fermi available? 806-674-6688. No one's running. No one's trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. Fermi is here. They've asked me to help them with that as a contractor for them. And so I will return all my phone calls before the end of the day. It may be 12 o'clock when you get each phone call, but I'll return them. So with that, It's all up to you guys to ask questions. If you need me to moderate, let me know, but if not, I'll sit down and let the experts talk.
No, I think it's
Can you say your
good.
phone number again?
Yes, 806-674-6688.
Mr. Nagelbauer, would you mind stepping up to the microphone, sir? I think that
Yes, sir.
I think it's very fitting to hear from you, if you don't mind.
Sure. My name is Toby Nagelbauer, and I am from down the road. My family has been farming off the Ogallala Aquifer since about 1900, 1910. My father has been one of the primary stewards as the congressman for the aquifer for the last 15 to 20 years. He retired in 2016. I grew up coming to Amarillo, getting my butt beat by Alex O'Brien all the time, and my doubles partner lived here. And so to me, this is a project of love for this part of the world. My best friends, you know, you think about this is the old Friday Night Lights high school football district. And all my buddies still live in the Friday Night Lights high school football district. And it's really an extraordinary place. When you think about Odessa and Midland, they just added 13 million barrels of oil a day, changed the world, this Friday Night Live football district, added 75 trillion cubic feet of gas of reserves. Y'all been the baseline heat for the United States for the last 70 years, your Hugoton Basin. And because y'all had the Hugoton, all of the big gas pipelines from the other basins would come and aggregate here in Amarillo, Texas. And y'all have such an extraordinary situation. Y'all can be the epicenter of the global creation of artificial intelligence. I like to say us at Fermi, you're smart. The rest of us at Fermi are dumb electrons guys. And what we're going to do is manufacture a bunch of dumb electrons with these, the people, the resources that we have, and then we're going to create the highest valued good on planet Earth, and that's a unit of AI compute. Every one of our leadership is from around here. I mean, you know the governor is from Paint Creek, not 90 miles from here. Zane and Park Hill has been developing the water infrastructure for the Panhandle for the last 50 years. It looks like we lost Dr. Rainwater, who was the foremost expert on the aquifers, Dr. Rainwater. He was the first person. Oh, there you are. I haven't seen you today. Dr. Rainwater, yes, good to see you. So we immediately went out and got the world's foremost expert. And what I like to do is have our team answer your questions. But the abuse of the aquifer it's just not true. What we're trying to do is help the people of the Panhandle harness this District 35A resource that begins with our natural gas and oil, primarily the gas from the southern part of old District 35A, the people that they're going to need to move as we develop the resource out in the southern part of our old high school football district, your natural gas pipelines, and you sprinkle it with a little water and the nuclear industry that already exists in Amarillo, and you have something that really is going to be extraordinary. My wife and I will be living here. My brother-in-law is y'all's weatherman. No one has heard more about your precipitation for the last 20 years than me. Every weather station in Amarillo was installed. My brother-in-law, the Sandies are playing in district, and that's why he stood me up. But my wife and her sister are going to be integrally involved in the community. We're from around, here. And so this is not they were describing these evil people, council. I was like, I'm from here too. And we're not going anywhere. We did mess up. And I think it was a confluence of capturing some opportunities that we saw for Amarillo that were immediate, the combination of the quiet period, and I owe y'all in this community an apology because the buck stops with me, and we're going to be over. Y'all will be tired of us. before it's over with, because we do acknowledge that. So with that, I'll open it up for questions. We'll obviously have our experts both in water, in nuclear. We definitely want to dispel some of those myths. So with that, Mayor, I'll open it up to you.
Thank you. Mr. Nuckenbauer, I'd love to start with maybe some questions for you, and then Dr. Rainwater, would be great if we could transition over to the water, and then we'd love to come back maybe more on the nuclear side with Ms.
Okay.
Council, the questions for Toby?
Well, no, Tony, I appreciate you. Trent and I have talked about a bit, and I think the biggest thing was I appreciate you owning the fact that this was a blunder. And it was timing wise, we get it, but the public didn't get to see that. They didn't understand it. You're a private company. You know, they're thinking, why are they pushing dirt? You know, right as soon as they made the announcement. You're a private company. You don't have to disclose like we do, right? So and none of that involved us. Like you didn't have to talk to us about pushing dirt. All that kind of stuff is done. But that's
Probably should have.
Well, in hindsight, I mean, y'all are learning. I mean, you're learning it's a different world. But, you know, we appreciate you making the effort. You know, I've told many citizens that, you know, I'm going to demand town halls, you know, that y'all give. You know, like you said, I appreciate you saying you're going to be sick of us. That's great, because I need, you know, you're from here, you know how we are.
My father served in the same role in Lubbock as the city councilman for a long time, so
Yeah,
I fully get the job.
So you get it. Our job is to be the voice, you know, be the representative, and when they're uncomfortable, we've got to exercise our due diligence and say, okay, they're uncomfortable. We need them comfortable.
Yes.
And because of the quiet period, man, it looked shady. It looked terrible. We got Fermi coming in here. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows the people. Nobody knows anything. You want to take our water. I mean, it just looks bad. I mean, and y'all got to keep your mouth shut. Can't say a word. Trent couldn't say anything. So I appreciate you owning that. And you know,
I'm laughing, but not laughing.
Yes, no, I get it.
Oh my God.
Kind of a perfect storm.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect storm. So I just want to start off with that, saying I appreciate you owning the fact that this was not done well, but moving forward, you're willing to over-communicate and be...
And like I said, my wife and I are buying a home here in Amarillo. You'll expect to see us here at least Monday and Tuesdays of most weeks. You know, Texas Tech's entrusted us with an incredible asset. Y'all are entrusting us with your assets. You know, this is like playing your hometown homecoming from a professional standpoint, and we intend to win and serve everybody and having a successful homecoming.
Yeah, well, thank you for owning that and being willing to change and be transparent when, you know, it's tough for a private company to come out and have to do that. So thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of remarks I'd like to say, and then I'm glad you're here first, because I think I want to kind of go back to the beginning of all this. But one thing I have determined all this is our water is gold.
Yes.
It has a high value, and gold is selling at a high price. And so I think that's a key thing I discovered. And we're lucky in Amarillo that we have access to a lot of it. So I think that's a good strength for our community. I just want to let the public, I don't think we can reinforce this enough. No water agreement has been made, nor should any water agreement be made without full disclosure, public input, and a clear understanding of what this means for Amarillo's long-term future. I think we're starting that process today. I'm looking forward, because I think we'll make good progress. Not sure I see a path to accomplishing everything that such an important decision needs to be made in one meeting, but I'm looking forward to this. I do think Fermi offers tremendous opportunities for our area, but because their success depends on resources owned by taxpayers and ratepayers, we've got to hold this process to the highest standard of transparency. That's what our job is as council members, and I'm confident that we'll see that here today. I will say I appreciate Fermi choosing to be here for public discussion and transparency, because even before any agreement is ever made, that's not common in data centers and AIs. What I've determined and found out is a lot of this has been done behind, and that the data centers and AI organizers require non-disclosures until the agreement is reached. So this is a little bit of an exception of how it's been done elsewhere, and I'm appreciative of the willingness to be able to do that. A couple of questions I'd like to ask, just kind of as a background, and And so, and I assume that, our community needs to get caught up to where we are, as I do. So can you just share a brief history of Fermi America? How was it founded? Who founded it? When did this occur?
Yes, Fermi America was founded by Governor Perry, his son Griffin, and myself about a year ago. And it was in response to another project in the old District 35A, and that is the Stargate project in Abilene, Texas. And as that project was being held out as the key to us winning the AI race, I had, and the governor had, significant concerns, even though the governor's mother still lives in Abilene, Griffith was born in Abilene, my ranch is close to Abilene, we're pro-Abilene, everybody. My dad was the congressman there for an extended period of time. It is missing some of the critical ingredients, mainly this large natural gas infrastructure, to be able to generate that amount of power that we felt like that we needed to kind of act urgently, and went to the regents at Texas Tech explaining the combination of the supply of natural gas in the Friday Night Lights football district. We all remember District 35A. So you have the gas pipelines, and then you have Pantex. And if you cannot restart America's civilian nuclear power at Pantex, then we already lost. It's the fastest place to kick this off. And so we went to the regents at Texas Tech, all of whom are very sophisticated. You've got Vistra board members, some of the top natural gas pipeline CEOs, y'all's legendary Cody Campbell is the chairman there, your famous football player from this region, all quickly realized that Amarillo, we're not talking about, Councilman Simpson, a data center. We're talking about an epicenter. We're not talking about a data center. Data centers to me are fringe vulture plays This is literally a $800 to $1 trillion investment opportunity.
Mr. Nagelbauer, we're gonna mic you up,
Okay.
so people that are watching online can hear.
Oh, okay, yeah. So our part of it is 60 billion, what we're providing. But again, what we call, since we're from, what's funny is everyone knows I'm from here because I talk all over the world and I say nuclear just like everybody in District 35A. What we call the insides, not like they do in San Francisco, we call the inside of the data rooms, data centers, innards. The innards investment that we're talking about here is probably 600 to 800 billion dollars. NVIDIA, just one chip company, said 700 billion. One of the most famous tech people of all time said that they wanted the whole campus, about 800 billion. But our part, what you're looking for us to deliver, is 60 billion to provide the foundation for the subsequent investment.
And how much funding has been raised and how much is yet to be raised?
Yes. So the way the funding works is we have raised just over $1.3 billion. Okay, and then as we get a customer, you'll have been notified we are in letter of intent with a major U.S. corporation, and in fact, it's for this very site right here. The senior executives are actually in town within minutes of here. They've been out at the site today. That investment by us, Councilman, will be about $4 to $5 billion. And what we will do to go finance that is we'll take the contract. They don't have as good a credit rating as you all do, but it's really close. And we take their contract, and we're in New York today to secure about 5.2 to 5.5 billion for the first phase that, as you can see, we've actually already started construction on today. So you would be looking, Councilman, for about $5.5 billion of investment by Fermi America, not including the investment by the ultimate company, but Fermi America in Amarillo in $5 billion in the next 365 to 550 days. We have to deliver them a gigawatt by December the 31st, and all told that investment will be in around $5.5 billion dollars. So these are, we are in New York meeting with the banks to do a securitized financing associated with, again, they're not as good a credit rating as y'all's AAA, but they're definitely in the neighborhood of that kind of deal. So what's great about this project for you, Councilman, is the people that are going to be investing in here are the largest, highest cash flowing, highest margin. The biggest funny one today, I heard some great concerns, especially about our poor communications, but the thesis and profitable, this is the highest margin business on planet Earth, creating AI compute. And we intend to grab some of that margin and bring it to this community. And again, I'm all for corn production. I just think we can take some corn production, take a few more pivots, and Amarillo can be also producing the highest margin, most valuable good on the planet today, which is a unit of AI compute.
So still a little ways to get to the 60 billion, but you're making headway.
As everybody's been saying, we've been moving fast. I think we're going to have, the goal is to close the project financing around December the 9th. And again, we are out in the market today for my CFO and my team are in New York tonight, and it's a $5.2 billion project financing, and that's just as fast as we can move.
And what individuals or entities have the controlling interest in Fermi America?
Fermi America is a publicly traded company, and so it is run by our board, and we are gifted to have a really, really talented board. One of our board members is Marius Haas, the former president of Dell. The other board member is Lee McIntyre, who, if you Google him or Rocky or ChatGPT, they're all customers, so I do not want to look like I'm predisposed to one, is one of the top engineering and construction executives in the country. Then one of our board members is on the board of Hershey and is a tech guru. One of our other, Anna Bofa, is a woman that is one of the top executives both at Meta and now is doing an AI partnership with Amazon. So really talented board. Your large shareholders are the large institutional investors. Obviously, the Perry family and my family are large shareholders as well.
So who has the controlling interest in it?
We are, as a publicly traded company, no one has a controlling interest in the company, and being a publicly traded company as a board, no five shareholders can own more than 50%. So a controlling shareholder structure, like I can appreciate your concern, it's not legal in the REIT structure by which we chose. So we are a publicly traded company run by our board, and not one person can own 50, 5 total people can't own more than 50%. So it is really set up so that it's run by solid governance that you would expect from a publicly traded company.
Thank you.
You have a question, Councilman? Councilman.
Can you just briefly retouch on the 90,000-foot view and why we hear Manhattan Project, we hear the next, can you tell us, or someone on your team tell us, what that truly means? I have a grasp of it, but I think everyone else understands.
I do. So, and I wish Governor Perry, he would have another event this evening, but I will channel him here. China has 22 nuclear reactors under construction tonight. They are not building those nuclear reactors to lower air conditioning prices in China. Okay? A modern superpower has nuclear-powered submarines, nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, and nuclear-powered AI. And we don't have anyone building these. These reactors that we have under permit are what the Chinese are building. And the Fermi site's the only 4 applications before the Nuclear Regulatory Commission today. We're behind. And again, China's building 22 nuclear reactors not to lower air conditioning prices for their people in China. It's an offensive military objective. And so that's the deal. What it takes, historically, as y'all know, these data centers were 40 megawatts, 50 megawatts. What they've determined is the higher the concentration of chips, the smarter the AI is. I'm not smart enough to understand why that is. That's past my pay grade. But that's what happened is when we saw what was going on in Abilene, they don't have what y'all have. Think about it. All the pipelines from the Anadarko Basin, all the pipelines from the Raton, all the pipelines from the San Juan, the Permian and Waha gas is all because y'all were the Hugoton Basin and the largest basin, y'all were the staging point for large-scale distribution and aggregation of natural gas. That is y'all's wonderful, wonderful gift. And then to have a community that's got 4,600 nuclear workers already, a site already ready to be permitted for nuclear reactors, your fiber's just as good as your gas pipeline, and you got a community that's patriotic and where it's still cool to be a welder. It's still cool. I was telling the New York people that at this site, my sons might have had a privileged life, Nate. But their car at the site will be the exact same car. Oh, there you are, son. Will be the exact same car as everybody else's. It's picked up. Because this ethos in District 35A is the place to go build this. Over and over, people ask, where are you going to get the labor? Well, we know that what happened, that we finished building out the lion's share of the Delaware and the Permian. And I know those Odessa Permian people are going to have to change uniforms. And there have to be at Dick Bivens stadiums. They'll adjust, but culturally, they'll still be accepted. I'm sorry, you can tell I can get excited about this, and this has already gone long. Sorry, I apologize.
And one question I think that was resounding in the public comment was water.
Yep.
And I don't know if Dr. Rainwater wants to jump in on some of this, or...
And I want to get him, Dr. Rainwater, he is here.
Right.
But I mean, what I'm dealing with in Washington is the inverse, and I think Dr. Rainwater can talk about the aquifer. I want to talk about the usage of the gensets, okay? Because I think that is where there's a really big misunderstanding, both here in Amarillo and bluntly at the Department of Energy. So what's funny is these same slides, we're using them, they're getting used multiple times all over the place. No, I was going to get the slide that shows the water efficiency. So in my view, at Fermi, oops, let's flip it.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. This is Nate and I's first council meeting. I bet it's not our last. Lesson learned. So when you look at this, what has traditionally been associated, and I think was accurately represented, was the water consumption when you use complete water cooling for the reactors. And you can look at the 22 million gallons a day. And that's a pretty dang scary number. I have zero intention of doing that. Okay? I start with air cooling. And people say, just so y'all know, we can air cool these turbines. And you say, no, you can't. The technology, you all have been associated with air-cooled turbines. They're called airline engines. And they're not being cooled by water in the air. Those engines are exactly, in fact, some of the data centers will use actual airline engines to power them. We're building a more industrial, but the concept behind it is the same. And the suit will get up here. Our view is when we look at the efficiency. So the only reason you don't completely air cool everything is it's just about the efficiency of the engine. And when you look here and you look at the 15% hybrid cooling scenario, you look at, you don't really give up, go to the annual generation percentage, that much efficiency on the engines with these new modern turbines than you do with the 100% fully wet-cooled engines. So the answer in terms of, and again, Dr. Rainwater will talk about the reservoir, but I think what we need to talk about before we get there is exactly what we're talking about. And that's where we get to pretty much, it's about a pivot and our efficiency. So the government, because they're so used to, and frankly, we failed in America's nuclear race. And they're not, it's the reason we brought him. He's an American citizen, but he's been building in China. He's been building in Abu Dhabi. And he's aware of how it's being done best practice globally, not failing. That's why we went and got the people who can do this and brought them here to Texas. He's now full-blown Texas. Got a Texas cell phone number, and he's got they've got lots of cowboy hats now. And so that I just want to set the record straight is we are going to hybrid cool these, and the water numbers that have been shared with, those are historically accurate numbers that aren't relative today.
Mr. Nagelbauer, let me ask a question, and we'll jump right back over.
Okay.
11 pivots would be 27.5 MGDs.
Yeah,
Is that
that's about
on
right.
the other, so I'm just looking at the total ask, does Does your need involve all potable drinking water at 27.5? Are you able to make that?
You can put any water in
Even,
it.
wastewater treatment, effluent,
The largest nuclear power plant in America is Palo Verde, and it's in the middle of the desert. And that is effluent. This can be absolutely powered with salt water, effluent.
okay.
So there's plenty of places to get water without making an impact towards the community.
Okay, Councilman.
Going back to, there's so much misconception and misinformation right now on, I mean, we're hearing that this is going to affect the aquifer in Nebraska. We're going to hear that this is going to affect the aquifer in Kansas. And it's very challenging for our constituents to understand what is going on with the Ogallala, especially in Carson County. I think that some critical components that need to be discussed very quickly and very unscientifically is what is radius of influence, what is the transmissivity of this part of the aquifer, transmissivity being how fast is the water going to move out, what are we going to see in terms of drawdown with 24-hour pumping, if that's going to be the case, and really what is the affected radius going to be? Is this going to affect Roberts County? I know the answer to that, but I would love to hear Dr. Rainwater tell us these answers.
Great questions. Dr. Rainwater, hold on just a quick second here. Here's what I'd like to do. It's 7:30-ish. We've been pushing for 2.5 hours maybe since our last break. So what I want to do is I want to catch any final questions quickly with Mr. Nagbauer.
And I wasn't going over you, I just wanted
No,
to
no, no, I think it's a great transition. We need to dedicate some time to this, but then would love to take a very short recess just to let everybody come back in. And so you got one quick one?
What does the philanthropy look like when these firms come in
Yes.
that you're talking about?
So-
what does that landscape look like if this was achieved for Amarillo?
Well, first of all, in our lease agreement with Texas Tech, and there is significant philanthropy required on the campus as it relates to Texas Tech. Fermi America gave 1.8% of the company? 1.8% of the company before it went public to a fund that is completely dedicated to philanthropy. And I think that today is like $300 million. That will absolutely, my wife and Christy Kirsch, Steve Kirsch's wife, are going to lead that effort in coordination with the other communities. But we're not here to be takers. And again, we're going to be a big part of this community. I want everybody to give us a little bit of organization time. My wife's give us till the first of the year and to get things set up. But we set aside 1.8% of the company to go straight to philanthropy, and my wife and her sister are going to get to enjoy leading that for Fermi America.
One last question.
Sure.
You guys always laugh about this. The question is, this is going to happen.
Yes, this is happening.
This is happening.
Yes,
If
sir.
the city says no to the water, you're going to get the water somewhere else.
Yes, sir.
Period.
Yes, sir.
And it's still going to come out of the same aquifer.
Yes, sir.
And we lose the opportunity to
Yes.
generate revenue at a 2 times multiplier.
Yes, and I think it hurts you from a long-term community development.
I
That you
just
can't.
want that to be said one more time, so
Yes.
everybody hears. If we do not enter into this agreement as a city,
Yes.
the aquifer will still be pumped down.
I don't
It
know
will be
that I
used.
believe in other
It'll be
things.
used. The water will be used with no benefit to the city.
We can go buy 11 cornfields.
I understand. Thank you for
Thank you.
clarifying that.
Oh, go ahead.
One final question.
And I'm just gonna follow up on what you started with. You keep using the word war. We're in a war,
Yeah, we are.
right? So explain, one, what's at stake,
Yes.
and what the final goal is with this AI.
Well, you know what I don't like about it? Someone I did agree is how do I feel about AI? And I'm going back to Washington to go meet with the Department of War because they absolutely think we're in a war. And the next way that we're going to fight each other is, you know, we all know what a nuclear weapon is because y'all make them all here in town. We're going to fight each other with control over infrastructure, etc., through artificial intelligence algorithms. And we're going to be able to wreak almost as much devastation and distortion with algorithms, with AI compute, as we would do with a thermonuclear weapon. And what a perfect place that the site where we've kept America safe with nuclear deterrence